If you're going to create a town, village or city in D&D or any tabletop RPG, you're going to need this book. What? It's long out of print. Well, okay then, why not use the second edition of it that is currently available at Drive-Thru RPG, and it's possibly even better than the first. Hello and welcome to the Battling Barrow. Yes, in this video we are going to have a look at the Advanced Fighting Fantasy book Blacksand. Now, whilst this is for Advanced Fighting Fantasy, which is a great role-playing game, if you're interested in an alternative to D&D, check it out. I'll probably be doing a video on this in the future. But yeah, if you're interested in creating towns, this book is invaluable, and today we're going to look into it and find out why. It's got everything you need inside. Not only does it detail the city port of Blacksand, and if you hear any purring, my cat is at my microphone, but yes, if you've got any not only does it detail Blacksand, it's got naval rules for Advanced Fighting Fantasy, but what it does, it takes you through the creation of a town with random tables, and not only does it create the town itself, it helps with the layout, this version. So we are going to take a look now. For the record, when I mentioned I was making this video last year to Graham at Orion Games, Arian Games even, he sent me a copy of the PDF version of this, and I liked it so much that by the end of the day I had ordered this, the physical version. But the PDF will come in very handy for this video, because we can take a look at some. I'm not going to show you everything, because otherwise there's no point in buying the book, and I really want you to buy this book because it's great. But yeah, let's have a look. What we're going to do is have a look at what it contains, how it's going to help you in whatever tabletop role-playing game you run, how it will help you create a town, and we'll probably go through a quick example of creating a village. So let's get on with it. And here is the book. It's available, as I said, on print on demand via Drive-Thru RPG, or you can buy the PDF. Yeah, so to begin with, it's got new rules for naval stuff. This is only going to be really interesting to you if you play Advanced Fighting Fantasy, and of course, why aren't you playing Advanced Fighting Fantasy? The next chapter 3 is the big one about Blacksand itself. This again probably only going to be useful if you want to include, like I've done, Blacksand into your campaign or play Fighting Fantasy. But even so, I say it's only useful. It is useful to see how you can set up a city settlement. So what we have here, when we look at the Blacksand chapter, if I go to the beginning one, it's got a gorgeous map of Blacksand anyway. And then, I'm not saying you have to do this, but it has like a timeline of the city itself. And it just talks about daily life within the city, the inhabitants, weather, travelling around it. Sometimes it's good just to think about these things for creating a town. You know, what food and drink, entertainment, sport, gambling, fight. You know, when you set up a town, think about these things. It just adds that, bring it to life. Here it's all written down for you, but you know, possibly if you do that yourself, it's going to be in the back of your mind while you're running the game. And another thing which I tend to do a lot as well, and then yeah, okay, so before we go into that, we're talking down the different organisations as well. I do that a lot. I break down towns into organisations and just put down, maybe for me, I put down some rough notes, just who's the head, who they are, who they're associated with. That's something you can do. But then we break it down into districts. So here, from the big map, we go to the Harbour District, and we go, they're all numbered, and they break down, and you got information here. I think before, with my taverns, I sort of run them in, also have little notes about, I've shown that on the video before, about the quality of them, the price, average prices for things, who the innkeeper is, just a real quick glance. But yeah, here we have things broken down, so that is, you know, already really useful to see one done. But here's the main crux of it, and it's only 9 pages, which is great, which is how to generate a settlement. So to begin with, it actually talks about the layout here. So the system is you roll some dice on a sheet of A4, an appropriate number of D6s. So in this case, there is 6 D6s that are dropped in. And where those dice lay, these are going to be buildings, and that will help you just generate the actual layout of the town. So first of all, you're going to pick a population. Sometimes people struggle with this, and here it is. So if you're doing a hamlet, you're going to be quite small. If you're doing a large city, you're going to be quite big, but really useful to have. So what we have here is each dice corresponds to a type of property. So if you rolled a 1, it's going to be a wealthy property, 2 special trade, 3 inn tavern, 4 magical type place, 5 temple, and 6 special. One of the examples here is try to do is show you as many as possible. It doesn't have a 5 actually, so then once you've got, so that's got your basic layout here and some key buildings already. So just a little flick of some dice. So in this case, how do you know how many dice to roll? It's got it here. So if you're doing a small town, which will be like this, what this is, it tells you to roll 6, but we're not going to go into too much of that. And then so you can then get more detail here as well. So if you're looking at what number 1 is here, you then go to, it's a wealthy building, so you go to the wealthy property table, roll another dice, and it will give you what actual wealthy property that is. Then you have, as I said, you got the special trade, inns, magical practitioners, temples, and what have you. And then even here, when you got businesses, if it was type of business, so sort of special business or whatever, you've got all these different business, so you can't think of anything what kind of business it is. We're just going to roll the dice. In this case, it's a D66. You roll 2 D6s because this is a D6 based game. You're going to roll, so your first dice, let's say we rolled a 3, would be in this area here, and if we rolled a 4, it'll be a sharpener for our business if we're in the poor district. What about merch? So we put this to the test actually. Let's get some dice and let's just see. Just an example. So I've rolled a 3 and a 1, so it'd be an outfitter. Wealthy district 6 and 2, so 6 and 2 would be interpreter. And then you have got your business, your town basically created, and it goes through the here afterwards around here about fleshing it out more. So perhaps this here will help you think about where to put your city walls. Once you've got your city walls, you put your roads in inside. This is a river. Towns are normally built on a river, which we'll explain in here. So you can go through, put a river first, roll some dice, and then you can sort of flesh out more and more until you could end up with something like this just from that. You can see there which is fantastic. It's a quick and easy way of generating a town. What it also does, all this text here is going through what each of these type of buildings are, just in case you don't know. So you know, and different types of temples. This is invaluable for generating towns. I absolutely love it. Okay, shall we generate, for quickness, a small hamlet? So all you do is get them there and roll them like that. Okay, so that is what our dice are. So from here, I'm going to put a river in. So we'll have a little river. I think I might have my river here. Going to be on the town's going to be on the bank of the river, so it's not going to run through the middle. So here is my river. So it's going to be like that. Okay. So then we come here. We'll write 2 here, 2 here, 4 here, and 6 here. And 6 because these are the dice that we recently gave away. So okay, so let's go through and see 2 these two here are special trades. So perhaps this has a due to it being on a big main river, as the way I'm looking at it, perhaps that's what it does. So let's roll for the special trade first. So first up, we'll do this one. It's going to be 35, so 35. It's going to be public baths, so I'm going to make this one the public baths. Okay, now we do this one here. It is 63. And this is a cartographer. Okay, let's do number 4. Number 4 is... it's a witch magical practitioner. So this is an interesting town. Which interesting magical practitioner is roll 2 of these together. So it's from 2 to 12. So I've got a 5. It is an enchanter or a naval sorcerer. We are on the river, so we are going to pick a naval sorcerer. And 6 is a special. So on the special we are here. We are going to roll 6. We're into here. 6, 6. Something else. What does something else mean? Well, something else is possible building something else. An enchanted garden, a healing spring, a haunted graveyard, a hermit living at the top of a pole. A field full of stone statues that move and dance at night. So, what is this something else? I don't know. And I'm not even going to fill this in. I am going to leave this to you to do. Let me know in the comments what this something else is. Okay, but for now I'm going to add in a little dock jetty here. I know I'm going to want this. Perhaps the first thing people will do would dock here. They're off to see the naval sorcerer. Perhaps they need his help, or they need a cartographer to continue the journey. But for now we'll have going to the naval sorcerer and then something else. Going up to here, into here for our roads. And then this just goes off perhaps into, there's a forest. Let's have a forest here, shall we? And this goes through the forest. Then we've got what we can do is from here onwards just add a few. These are just homes. These are just the people that live in this really strange hamlet. Just all on the. You can add things in like this. So it's a small. I said it was a village, didn't I? But I feel in this is more hamlet based. But let's call it a village. Let's call it a village. That's probably run by this naval sorcerer. He's in charge of the village, and people come to him and they make the money via other things. There's no say we can't add an inn in. So I feel we should add a tavern in. Perhaps here. We'll make this the tavern. Just because you know the dice are only just to get you going initially, so you can add things in. So we're going to have this as a tavern. People come in here. Maybe we will add a. These are just the main buildings, kind of thing. Maybe we'll add a shop in here somewhere. Let's add the shop in here. Little general store, small one. Yeah, and I think that will do us for now. That is our town. So we have literally just created a town really quickly. It is a place that people normally you can get to via road, but people are going to come here via the sea the most. Dock up to visit the naval sorcerer, maybe get some cartography done to set sail, and maybe if they're on the journey, a little clean up first. There is a tavern and there is a store, but these aren't the main attraction. This town, this village makes its money via that business. These here is what it makes its money from. But okay, so that is how easy it is, and this is why you should get this book. It is brilliant, really helpful for just getting towns created really fast. Now, I will be developing this town, I think, this year, this village, I should say, and maybe even trying to include it in my D&D campaign. But you can help me out. 1. What is this something else building? Let's have a conversation about it in comments. 2. What are we going to potentially call this town? And then we can maybe look at some NPCs later on and add to it and add to it and add to it. So yeah, for now, that is it for this video. Until the next one, stay safe, take care, bye bye.